And for a guy like that, I'm gonna tell him, okay, next time you go down to Boise, don't do it on a Monday or a Friday or right after a 3-day weekend. Do it somewhere in the middle. Go to the VA administration, the hospital side, go on the outpatient in the back, go in and see one of the benefits advisors. Take you to ED 214, your financial information, because the person's, their income is going to determine how much support the VA is going to give them. Because that's all driven by, the VA has a big budget, but it's also limited. You can write on the back of this.
Oh.
This is yours.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
The VA is limited by how much Congress gives them every year. You know, it might be $7 billion one year, and the next year it drops to $5 billion. So then they'll take that income threshold level, and instead of being higher, it'll be lower. So they can, I mean, it's dictated, and that's how many vets they can work with and help.
Okay.
So simple things, I'll direct them either to a phone number to call or to go down there. I encourage them to go down and face-to-face meet with one of the Veterans Administration benefit advisors. That way they're getting a straight scoop from that person. And then we're going to advise them, oh, well, you need to make an appointment with your county service officer. Probably need to start a claim for hearing aids or prostate cancer or whatever. And that's when they're going to usually call me back and say, okay, they said I'm probably eligible for XYZ, but I need to sit down with you and Jim Philpott so you guys can start a claim on me. So, like right now, what day is it? 6th of October. I have 3 veterans down appointments to meet Jim and I there in McCall. That may go up to 5 or 6. I mean, I never know. Or it may stay at 3 or maybe go up to 4. So I set the times for them to meet us. And then we'll sit down with them. Now, Jim, you know, things have gotten so electronically technical. You can submit a claim if you have all the information. Same day you meet the guy. It really speeds up the process. Before it was handwritten, god awful long form. So the VA has done a couple good things to make it easier. So Jim and I, will review his DD 214, any other documents he may bring in, either from, say he maintained or kept his health records from the military, or service records to prove that he was in Vietnam, or he did get shot or whatever. And then based on all of that, we'll probably initiate a claim for a service-connected disability. Once we've done that, and if the guy's provided all the information we need, and I won't go into the details on it's a bunch of stuff. It gets sent in electronically, and then we tell the veteran, okay, in 2 to 4 weeks, you'll get a phone call or a letter from the VA in Boise giving you a day and a time and a place for you to go down there and make your first initial appointment. And they'll be examined by a team, nurse, doc, probably a physician assistant, maybe a specialist if it's say it's a lung disease, whatever. So they're going to examine you, and they're going to poke and prod, and probably take blood tests, might do an x-ray, might do an MRI, to find out what is the extent of your injury or illness. And then the doctor's going to recommend to the Pension and Compensation Board, I believe that veteran Joe Smith should be granted a service-connected disability for prostate cancer due to his service in Vietnam as an Army infantryman such dates. His prostate cancer is advanced, where he needs treatments, blah, blah, blah. And then there will usually be, it's called a P&C, Pension and Compensation Hearing. And that's why the vet goes before this hearing. And they make the final determination. They're taking all the stuff that Jim and I have sent in, that the veterans provided to us. They're taking all the stuff that the medical folks have generated and what they're saying. And then they're playing like Solomon and going, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, kid. 30% service-connected disability for X, Y, or Z. And then that veteran will get a check for whatever that 30% works out to be, quite possibly for the rest of his life, or a lot of times they'll have guys come back in 18 months and they'll retest them again to see if it's gotten better or worse. If it's gotten better, that 30% might drop to 10%. Gotten worse, it may go to 50%. Wow. So it's an ongoing process. Jim and I, it's health-related issues, health care. We can refer folks if they have a question for, say, VA home loans, VA education, GI Bill, housing grants, some other things. We're not the duty experts in that, though. So I always refer them down to the VA, to those people who are the duty experts in that particular area, to go down and get help there. That doesn't happen all the time, but quite often it does. So 96% of what we do is guys who are coming to us, I need health care, or I need this, this, and this. And we'll even get guys who are in the VA healthcare system. They're even assigned to one of the teams down there, the red team, gold team, silver team, blue team. But they may feel frustrated that the docs aren't listening to them. And they want their particular issue re-examined or looked at harder because they feel like, I have a service-connected disability for X, Y, or Z. And if they can bring in enough documentation or proof so that in our mind, well, yeah, what the hell are they doing? Well, then we'll initiate the claim process. Well, and on occasion, a guy will be denied. They will deny his claim. And if Jim and I still believe, horseshit, this guy's, everything we're seeing, everything he's telling us, based on our gut feeling, no, we're going to appeal that. We'll help him to appeal it. And so that's one of the things that, the nice thing about Jim Philpott as the state veteran service officer, like I said, he's licensed, bonded, and trained. He can be, oh, you doing a picture? Shame on you.
No, that's a video. It's a video, you can keep talking.
Oh, gee, okay. So, threw me off.
Sorry.
Where the hell I was.
Now you mean.
I don't mind it. It's no big deal. Oh, shit.
When the claim is denied. When the claim is denied. And you guys feel that it is horseshit.
We'll go through, well, that's a nice thing about Jim. He's licensed, bonded, and trained to be the legal advocate representative for the veteran at the VA. So that's important. And whenever we do the initial process on inputting the claim, one of the forms that the veteran's going to fill out is called a representative form. He is giving Jim limited power of attorney to represent him in this particular case. So Jim has the ability, once that's done and signed and sent in, it becomes part of his file. Jim can access the VA computer files, even Social Security, and in some cases, private doctors, to find out, okay, what happened here? Who did this? What's your assessment? Blah, blah, blah. And he can follow that claim through the process right up to approved or denied. And then we follow it more on the appeal side if we feel that's warranted. Now, some of these things, I mean, this is before Jim's time. Jacques Chang-Hee was a service officer then. A Korean veteran up in Riggins, or Pollock or Pollard, I always screwed that up.
Pollock.
Pollock. Highly decorated Marine, Korean War veteran. Sat on a hill, they got pummeled, artillery, mortared, human wave assaults for 4.5 days. They got the Silver Star, the Bronze Star, and 2 Purple Hearts out of it. The VA would not acknowledge the fact that he had all these health issues.
Wow.
We fought for him for, I think it took, God, forever, 7 years. Through the process down here, through the appeal process down here. And it finally got to the point, he went to Washington, D.C.,
Wow.
to the head appellate judge. And he and his wife flew back there and appeared before them.
Wow.
And this judge goes, "You gotta be kidding me. 100% total service-connected disabled, and he gets back pay since the day he started the claim, 7 years." He had a huge check.
Oh, boy, I
And he had
bet.
all kinds of physical health issues.
Oh, that's a shame.
Boy, when we got the word that way, yeah, for God only, there is a God in heaven.
Yeah.
And so he's, you know, he's buckered up. He's not living a life of Riley, but
Right.
he doesn't have to worry about his wife. He doesn't have to worry about where the next payment for medical bill is going to come from. So that's very rewarding. The things I enjoy about the job is being able to help a veteran who needs help. A bona fide veteran with a bona fide medical need with bona fide supporting evidence and documentation. And so it's wonderful to help someone when they're in that situation. I get aggravated when I get, I call them wannabes, or people that they exaggerate their injuries or their problems. Some of them have never been in the combat zone. They tell us they have been. They tell us they have all these problems that were incurred while they were on active duty. So you go, you know, well, we're sitting there going in the back of our mind, this guy is feeding us a line of hooey. Well, no problem. We'll initiate the claim. And the VA is going to go back and they're going to look in your records. Your service records, your health records, the whole enchilada. And then when that information comes back to us and they go, there's absolutely no record of that man ever having that injury.
Oh.
Plus, he never stepped foot in Vietnam, or he didn't serve in Iraq. And I love those because then you get the, you know, oh, okay, well, you know, yeah, we got some information back, so we need to set up a new appointment for you, and we'll go over where we're going to go. And they come in and we go, we lay it out, go, you have nothing, no basis for a claim, period. What do you mean? Well, we got all this information back that you weren't there,
No.
you didn't go there, and you never incurred this injury. Well, something's wrong. I said, yeah, something's wrong. You've been lying to us.
Oh.
You're just trying to get a freebie out of the government. You have any other problems? No? Bye-bye. Send them on their way. But I can't say names, but I've had several really neat stories of guys that were in big trouble. It was a lot of fun to be able to help them, to get them to a point where they can live, whatever, how many days, months, years they've got left to them.
That's great.
They'll at least be comfortable. They have the services they need. They got a dry roof over their head, and they can get the health care they need. So it's a lot of fun because of that. So, and I get a chance to meet a lot of veterans that I probably never would. Although I meet a lot of them here at the Legion Hall, but I meet a whole lot more.
That's great.
It's fun.
That sounds really great. So you guys do a lot of dinners here. I know you do the free Thanksgiving dinners, the big Christmas dinners, Christmas trees for the children.
Yeah, that's, so do you want to switch over to what the American Legion does here in town?
Yeah, well, actually, what I want to do is I want to know what you did in the service. I want
Oh.
to hear about you.
Well, I was a career Marine.
Wait, I'm sorry?
I was a career Marine. Trained as a senior in high school in '65. Went to boot camp in '66. And then I started my first tour of Vietnam in June of '67. I was a Marine rifleman. Served 2 tours there. Came stateside to Camp Pendleton, and then I went. I re-enlisted to go back, but the war was winding down. And probably thank God for me. I ended up stationed in Okinawa for a year. Then I went to San Diego, was stationed there. And I was accepted into a Marine commissioning program for officers in San Diego. And so I came back home to Pocatello, went to Idaho State University for a couple of years and got my BA degree. And I was commissioned as second lieutenant in the Marine Corps. So I retired in 1990 as a major. My jobs as an officer were artillery officer. It's a nice thing about being an officer in the Marine Corps. You can do a lot of different things. I was an adjutant for the largest Marine battalion in the world, in Okinawa. I served on recruiting duty. I served as the inspector instructor in Spokane for the Marine 105 artillery batteries. And then my last duty station was at Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego, as a captain and major on recruiting duty. And I got to retire in the same footsteps I stood in as a private in 1966, 65. So it's kind of neat.
Wow.
Start there and end there.
Yes.
Really loved the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps was good to my family because our late son had severe medical issues when he was born at Fort Belvoir Army Hospital in Virginia. It turned out to be a case of medical malpractice, but he had severe cerebral palsy and visual problems and seizure disorders. The Marine Corps took care of us and made sure that for the rest of my career, we were places where I could get the medical things I needed, and I didn't have to go to the field as much as I used to. So they were really good to me.
Is that kind of why you do this now? Where you help people, make sure that they get help, or it's just in you to help?
Oddly enough, I wanted to be a high school history government teacher. And I went to BSU when I retired in '90 for 3 semesters. And I was student teaching, and I realized this isn't for me. So I was a volunteer down there with organizations that assisted people with disabilities.
Oh,
Became an advocate for them. Really enjoyed that. I did that for 10 years.
wow.
And when our late son passed away, we came up here, and they sucked me into the Legion, and they sucked me into being the county service officer. So
Okay.
I do enjoy helping people.
It seems like it. Yes, it does. Right on. So you want to talk about the Legion a little bit?
You can.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me go get my finger off the
Okay.
camera. Okay. So if you could talk a little bit about the Legion.
Well, I'm very proud of our American Legion Post 60 here in Cascade, Idaho. This building we're in right now was built in 1990. When I came on board in 2002, I think it was. It was still in good shape, but it was kind of disrepaired, run down a little bit, and needed a lot of tender loving care. So there were about 3 or 4 of us, I call us the core group. Jack Knobloch, Joe Posluszny, John Ernsberger, a couple other folks. We just put our shoulder to the wheel and worked hard to recruit more members, people who had skills like painters or carpenters or stuff like that, who were just willing to work. And we cleaned the post up, remodeled it. Over the years, we saved our money, and people in the community believed in us, gave us substantial donations. We totally remodeled our kitchen, made it modern. Things like the electronic reader board out along the highway, same thing. In American Legion, there's 3 primary missions, or we call them the 3 pillars. The first is taking care of our veterans. The second is taking care of the youth, children and youth. They don't have to be children of veterans, but taking care of children and youth. And the third pillar mission is taking care of our community, being good community members, participating, supporting, whatever we can do to support the community. And I believe we've been pretty darn successful in that. Whether it's holding fundraisers down here for lots of different things, the Chamber of Commerce, for ourselves, we do that once a year. We do it for several other organizations trying to support the community. We have a very, very strong ladies auxiliary. They are our strong right arm, and I'm not ashamed to say that. Without them, we could not do what we do. Their membership right now is currently, I want to say, around 55. Our membership right now in the Post is sitting around 170. And not all of them live here. A lot of them live in other states, but we have a lot of people up in Valley County that do live here. We're all volunteers. We ain't paid a nickel. And we do it because we believe in it. The Ladies Auxiliary, they adopt veterans at the Veterans Home down in Boise, up at the Nursing and Rehab Center in McCall. And they're just going to take on a World War II wave who lives there. And they're going to adopt her this year. And so things like birthdays and Christmas and making, visiting them, making them feel like people remember them. For kids and youth, we do scholarships, for going to college, good citizenship awards for kids who have done that. The auxiliary, every year they coordinate with the school. We find out what kids need on a quiet basis. Need boots, gloves, coats, mittens, hats for the winter, because there's a lot of families up here that are having a tough time making it.
Sure.
So they buy those things for those kids, and through our contact at the school, we get them to them, so that they don't feel, it's not in front of all the other students.
Right.
It's individual.
Wow.
So that they're not ostracized, so to speak, for being poor or less fortunate than others. And for our veterans, we have what we call the Valley County Veterans Assistance Fund. All tips that we get in the bar on Friday nights or big events, that goes into our Veterans Assistance Fund. Somebody needs to have a handicap access wheelchair ramp built, or they didn't have the money to fill up the propane tank and they got little kids at home, or they need immediate emergency car repair, or need a set of false teeth,
Anybody in the community?
any veteran.
Oh, any veteran, okay.
So if a vet, we
Perfect.
use that money for
Oh,
that.
the veteran, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, and we
Nice.
even, a veteran, you know, was driving through, just had a guy from Ohio, he got in a wreck up in the Panhandle, and so by the time he paid for his front end repair, he didn't have any money, didn't have a credit card, blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
So sometimes they'll show up here on our doorstep, can you help me? And if they can prove to me that they are a bona fide veteran, they have a VA card or DD 214, and all the addresses and names match, and if I believe them,
Right.
a couple of us usually will vouch or talk to them, then we will give them a cash donation to help them get to wherever it is they need to get. It's not a lot of money, but I am authorized to give up to $100 in cash if someone looks like they're valid. We do things like the annual Thanksgiving Day free community dinner, full traditional Thanksgiving dinner. Totally free,
For everybody.
everybody, anybody and everybody that walks through the door. They
And the
can-
whole town can come.
The whole town, we don't care where they're from.
Wow.
We've had people driving by on 55. We've had people that were in transit. The one that sticks in my mind the most is a guy with his 2 little grandkids. He didn't have the money for a Thanksgiving Day.
Oh,
And he saw the sign, and he pulled in and came in, grabbed me, I think it was, very respectfully and humbly. He says, "Could we get something to eat?" I go, "Well, yeah." So we filled their bellies and gave them several gold boxes to get them. They were going up to Sandpoint, I think it was. Gave them enough food to get up there to
wow.
their parents' house. So things like that. So that's why it's rewarding to me. It's nice, you know, what do we, Memorial Day, we do the ceremonies at the veterans at each of our cemeteries. And our Leaders Auxiliary puts an American flag on each veteran's grave. So we do our Memorial Day ceremonies, same on Veterans Day. And we just had here last week,
Yes.
we always do Patriot Day, 9/11. We decided to combine those two events. We did the Patriot Day event first, and then right after that, we did a POW MIA demonstration or display. And every kid in school came down and went through that.
Yes.
So they learned what that was about. And we had, I don't know the exact count, but we had between 300 and 400 people standing out there when we began the 9/11 Patriot Day ceremony. Very, very gratifying as an American to see other Americans out there, first responders, people from the community, and all those kids. It was, still brings a tear to my eye.
No, it was incredible.
So,
Incredible.
though, you know, we do funerals here, we do weddings here, we do reunions, we do homeowners association meetings. We're going to do a gun show next month here. So, if it's a valid deal, we'll help them put it off or pull it off. So, and that's how we make our money. Valley County Commissioners do provide us a stipend each year because this is the Valley County Veterans War Memorial, and that's why we have all these plaques and stuff up, these displays on veterans from past wars. But the bulk of it, it takes us about anywhere between $26,000 and $28,000 a year just to keep the doors open and the heat on. So every penny we can raise ourselves, that helps us to do that, and that helps us to maintain the building and do those things we talked about, helping veterans, helping children and youth, and being a part of the community. So that's why we do those things. And we're all volunteers, and we're looking for younger guys. We're all getting a little long in the tooth. So,
Well, I thank you all for your service because it is amazing here.
yeah, we have a lot of fun.
Well, you guys do a great job.
We're trying.
Well, you do. Thank you.
You bet.
And thank you for your interview.